Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm Aisha Education Wali from the Teaching Institute participant, level 1 student. Let's talk about our Tedx today by Jeremy Heimans, and the topic of his Tedx is New Power. Before going to the review of the Tedx, I would like to introduce Jeremy Heimans. He is a globally recognized thinker on power, participation, and social change. He co-founded Purpose, a consulting movement-building organization, and early helped found groups such as GetUp in Australia and Avis globally. He is co-author of the book New Power: How Power Works in the Hyper-Connected World and How to Make It Work for You. In his TEDx Amsterdam talk, New Power, he presents a compelling shift in how power works today, contrasting the old models with the new participatory model. Now let's go to the TEDx. Herman Herman starts by reminding us of the traditional model of power, all power, a top-down closed system where power is held like a currency, not a acquired it. You hold it, you spend it. He sketches how institutions, government, large corporations, media used to dominate because the mechanisms of influence were centralized and controlled. He further said he argues that the world is changing. Digital connectivity, networks, peer to peer systems are alerting how influence is created and spread. The core idea new power is different, more like a current than a currency. It flows, it surges, it is participatory. Heimans gives examples of how movements, grassroots campaigns, online communities are using this new power, leveraging networks, engaging many people, enabling bottoms up participation rather than relying solely on top down directions. The contrast key features of old power and versus new powers. Old power closed leader driven, you hold it. New power open participatory, your channel to channel it. He also highlights that new power can work for both good and ill. It's not inherently begin. The same participatory forces can be used by constructive social movements or by destabilizing groups. Heimans touches on how all power organizations are facing existential questions, how to adapt when their traditional levers of control are weakening, how to engage the coward, how to transition or integrate new power mechanisms. He draws on real world illustrations, for instance, how digital platforms have enabled massive mobilization, how social media has enabled people to self organize, how brands and organizations are trying to engage with this shift. He said for leaders and organizations, one of the key tasks is blending old and new power. It's not that old power disappears entirely, rather, success lies in knowing when to use traditional levers and when to open up, invite participation, relinquish some control. For individuals, there is an invitation to rethink how we engage instead of being passive consumers of messages and institutions. We can become active participants, co creators, shapes of movements or communities. For society, the shift has profound implications for democracy, business, activism. The disturbance of power is becoming more networked, more dynamic. But with that comes responsibility. New power can amplify voices, but also misinformation or harmful agendas. Heavens ends by urging us to recognize that the question isn't old power versus new power in a binary way, rather, how do we live and live in a world where both exist, often intertwined? The key points of his review is the talk is very relevant for anyone interested in leadership, organizational change, social movements, or digital transformations. Heimans' framing, crunches versus grunt, offers a memorable metaphor to understand the shift. The talk invites critical reflection also. Are you only using all power tools? How might you open up participation? Are you ready for the demand of network power, transparency, agility, peer engagement? One subtlety, while the new power model is existing, Hammonds does not dismiss all power completely. He, he emphasizes the need for integration that strengthen the argument. And for the critic, you can mention that while the model is compelling, the talk may leave open questions about how exactly organizations shift without losing their mission or control. Also, the risk side of new power, echo chambers, misinformation could be further developed. In our in the interview, he connects his points to a real world examples you know from your own country to make it locally meaningful. So, this is the review of the TED Talks today. I hope you like the review. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.